Hello all my spooky friends, it's April and we are here to discuss the second speculation map from Horror Night Nightmares for Halloween Horror Nights 31. So it's been a little while since we last spoke. However, Horror Night Nightmares came out with their second speculation map, and now it's time to discuss everything that changed from map 1 to map 2, because there's quite a few new items on there, some of which match up with what I said would be missing. And there's some new items we absolutely need to talk about. So let's get into this thing. So if you're new to my channel, hi, I am Liz. I'm a huge Halloween Horror Nights fan. I've been attending since 2001. And one of my absolute favorite parts of the event is rumor season. I love finding out all the little details behind the scenes, sharing them with you guys, and then when fall rolls around, I vlog the event. So if you love Halloween Horror Nights or just haunts in general, because Halloween Horror Nights it's not the only haunt I visit every season, make sure to subscribe for more rumors and vlogs coming in the fall. Without further ado, let's jump into this map. And I do apologize, I am getting over a cold, so I'm gonna do my best to make it through without sniffling, but no promises. So here's what we're looking at for the speculation map version 2.0, and as you'll notice, we're missing a few items from the first map. We no longer have Fear Street, we no longer have The Last of Us, we no longer have Pandora's Box, we no longer have Evil Dead, and there's been a couple changes other than that. But let's go ahead and discuss what's new on this map. Right off the bat, the one that's jumping out at me is, of course, Stranger Things. Originally the map had Fear Street, which would be a Netflix property, and now we have Stranger Things, which I presume would be Stranger Things 4, considering the new series is coming out this summer. We have one season, but it's cut into two for Stranger Things 4. As you might know, I do love Stranger Things. In fact, right on this shelf that's a little too high for you to see, I do have a whole Stranger Things pop collection. I really do love Stranger Things and I cannot wait for series 4. That said, the two previous installments of Stranger Things at Universal have been wildly different. You have Stranger Things 1 that I thought was a fantastic IP house. I only got to see it 3 times because the lines were insane for it. I wish I could have had more walkthroughs of it, but I really do think it's one of the best IP houses they've done, even though I hated the amount of crowds it brought with it because there were so many extra people at Halloween Horror Nights that year just for Stranger Things. On the other hand, you have Stranger Things 2/3 that was a hot mess and one of my least favorite houses that's ever been at Halloween Horror Nights. I'm not even gonna go further into it because I have a lot of thoughts about it and that's not the point of this video. I don't know how to feel if there is a Stranger Things 4 house coming, because which one are we getting? If we're getting one like the first one, I could be on board. If we're getting one like the second one, absolutely not. But also, Stranger Things brings crowds. I can't say I would be thrilled if it is going to be there just because the sheer amount of people who came specifically for Stranger Things, which obviously a good business move. But as a fan, I'm like, we can't handle more crowds. It's already too busy. Please don't bring in more. That said, I do not have a strong belief that this is actually coming to the event. Rumors for IPs this year have been swirling like crazy. Usually things can start to fall into place. You start hearing the same things over and over, so you start to believe it. But this year, the IPs are just swirling. So I have no idea what to think about what IPs will actually be at the event. I don't know if we will actually see Stranger Things. So all I will say is just don't get your heart too set on it. I don't have a strong feeling on this one way or another, if it's definitely coming or if it's definitely not. I would just say keep expectations at a reasonable level. And if you love Stranger Things, cross your fingers. And if you don't love Stranger Things, keep yourself calm. It might not be coming. Time will tell on this one. It's still way too early to know. The next new IP that's on the list is The Horrors of Blumhouse, The Black Phone, and Freaky. So I will go ahead and admit that I know absolutely nothing about the Blumhouse properties. If you know me or if you've been around my channel for a while, you know I am not really that much into horror films. I love the classic horror films and even the 90s horror films. Modern horror films are typically just too gory for me, so I do not seek them out unless it's Halloween Horror Nights homework time. If this ends up being true, obviously I have some homework to do. I will have to watch these two movies. We have obviously already had Blumhouse houses at the event in the past. Two mixed reviews. Again, I think one was pretty strong and the other one was not. It's a mixed bag. I don't know anything about these two movies to know how they would fit into a house, and I'm not gonna rush to watch them quite yet because again, it's too early to know if this is truly an IP that we're going to see at the event. I have mixed feelings on this one. You never know. Sometimes my Halloween Horror Nights homework turns out to be stuff I absolutely love. I ended up loving The Haunting of Hill House. I ended up loving Cabin in the Woods. I even ended up loving American Horror Story. I say I don't like horror, but when I get pushed into it, I end up enjoying it. So maybe I'll like these movies too. Those are the two new IPs. And then we have two new originals on this list as well. We have Bug House and we have Wicked Growth 2. Bug House. I don't know what to make of that. There's differing rumors behind the scenes on this one, so I don't want to dive into what I've heard yet because they're two very different rumors as far as what the content of this house will be, and so I don't want to muddy the waters on rumors. I like either one. Either direction it's going, I like it. So if this is real, I'll like either house. And I'll talk about that more in the future as rumors start to get a little more solidified. But depending on which direction they go in tone, it could be either a very scary house or a very funny house. I'm here for either one. Very curious to see what they're going to do with this one. I love originals, and I can't think of another house that's been a bug house. Am I missing something from the past that's been along those lines? Let me know down in the comments below if you can think of a house that's been along those lines. I think this could get very scary very fast. As for Wicked Growth 2, I would very much temper expectations. If you saw this news and your immediate reaction was, "Lil Boo, he's back," or "get back in there, ingredient," or any other items from Wicked Growth 2 just filling you with happy memories and you can't wait to experience them again, I would just temper the expectations a little bit. I really don't know about this one. This seems way too soon for a sequel. I can't think of any time in the history of Halloween Horror Nights that we've had an immediate sequel aside from Walking Dead, but that doesn't count. I can't think of any time where we've had an original get a sequel the immediate next year. Could it be possible? Absolutely. Obviously, Wicked Growth was very popular. Everyone loved it. I think not just the fans, but the general public seemed to love it because everyone loves Halloween, right? You're there for Halloween. It's traditional Halloween. Easy win. I just don't think I see it coming back this soon. Could we see elements of Wicked Growth back at the event? Absolutely. Do I think it's getting a second house along the same storyline? No. We could even be getting another traditional Halloween style house. I just don't think it's going to be Wicked Growth 2. We also see an update on this map that Seaside Village has been updated to Dead Man's Wharf, which we kind of already assumed from the first little tidbit that Seaside Village was actually Dead Man's Wharf. So this is no news to us, but just further confirms what we were already thinking. The Dead Man's Wharf is going to get its own house. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like that's a very cool idea. Wink, wink. I'm not a good winker, but wink, wink. Otherwise, we're still looking at the same. We've got the Mummy versus Wolfman. We've got El Chupacabra that we discussed before. We've got Underground Creatures. Again, we discussed it in the last video. Halloween is still on there. No updates there. And The Weeknd. I swear to goodness, if The Weeknd house isn't happening, then Abel, who is The Weeknd, is a troll. A super troll. Because he keeps tweeting Halloween Horror Nights stuff. And if he is not actually appearing at this event, he is a master troll. Because he is definitely riling up the whole community every single time he tweets anything about Halloween Horror Nights, or he retweeted Horror Night Nightmares. He's in it. He's paying attention. So if that rumor's not real, then applause to him for messing with us, because I think it's happening. That one, I think, is happening. They did sneak one scare zone on this map. So right now there is a Scarecrow scare zone. It's the only one that's on the map. Everything else is unknown, but they have Scarecrow in Central Park. I'm here for it. Scarecrow is one of my absolute favorite houses of all time. I think a Scarecrow scare zone would absolutely work in Central Park. I have no insight on the scare zones yet. It's way too early in the game, but if that's happening, sign me up. There's also been a few things that have cycled on this map as far as house locations. So it looks like we're still not sure about where the houses will land. Once again, if you're concerned about a certain house location, I wouldn't fret about that yet. It's too early to know actual house locations. So most of these are just gonna be educated guesses. Don't get too worried if you see a house that you think would belong in a soundstage that's in a tent or something like that. And just as I'm sure this map will change again before the event, I'm sure the house locations will change as well. So my overall thoughts for Speculation Map 2. 1, I still think we're gonna see things change. I do not think this is our final map. I still think the rumors are shifting around. I don't think this is locked in stone. However, certain things are becoming more believable, like the Dead Man's Wharf house, the Weekend house, El Chupacabra. These rumors have lasted now for at least a couple months. We should be seeing those. Those are pretty well locked in. We don't know details, but they're not shifting, which gives me the impression that they're probably real. These other ones, some of these other IPs, they're very fluid. Things are changing week by week as far as the rumors swirling behind the scenes. So not sure as far as the future of these IPs, minus the Classic Monsters house. I do believe that's happening, and I do believe the Weekend is happening. The other 3 IPs, time will still tell as far as whether or not those are accurate. This current map has me unsure of how I feel about Halloween Horror Nights. I think some of the originals seem like they have potential. The IPs are a little bit all over the place, and I'm not judging too much on those because, like I said, they're changing so much. I don't really know what to believe. As it stands, this map feels like a very odd event. And obviously scare zones can kind of tie everything together. We don't know if we're having an icon or anything like that. If this 10 makes the final cut, it feels like a strange year to me. So let me know down in the comments how you feel about it, if you agree, if there's something on this map that you're super excited to see, or something that you're really sad left the previous map, let me know. I'm very curious to know what you guys are thinking about Halloween Horror Nights 31 and what we will see at this event. It's shaping up to be a very strange year in my perspective. Obviously, I will be back to discuss more rumors as we either get announcements or Speculation Map 3.0. I also plan on covering the Hallowscream events once they start making announcements, so I'll be back with news for Busch Gardens and SeaWorld as that time comes. And you guys know I love Sir Henry, so I'll definitely be talking about their haunt that's coming up. So it's an exciting haunt season on the way. We're only a little over 4 months away from opening weekend of Halloween Horror Nights, which is crazy how fast that time flies. And hopefully we start getting some official announcements very soon. So with that, I'm gonna sign off for today, but until next time, stay spooky and I will see you in the next one. Bye.